Alright, so week 2 of the Voice Project, and this week I chose to look at a YouTube video, which was produced by Vice, which is a popular documentary site that kind of talks about different things that are in controversy or things that are going on. So this video was about the Kingdom of Little People, which is in Kunming, China. And it is a very controversial place because it is basically just like a kind of an amusement park that where all of the people that are in the park are little people and they're entertaining people that come and watch. So it's basically, it was described as like a human zoo, which is why it's so controversial. A lot of little people in America have kind of talked about how it is like not at all appropriate because it's kind of like discriminating against these people or drawing attention to something that some people don't really want attention drawn to, or something that already has enough attention drawn to it. So, information about the Kingdom of Little People. It was founded in 2001 by a business mogul. Um, and the video was really cool because it had a lot of interviews with people that work there, and their opinion of the Kingdom of Little People is way different than the other people that don't work there. Little people and average type people. They followed a couple that had met there. They followed an older girl and they followed a younger girl and kind of interviewed them, showed their living spaces, asked questions, talked about like how they got there. The person who was touring the place, she at first felt uncomfortable because it is kind of like a rundown. It's not very nice. Like, it wasn't like Disney or something that we would call a cool amusement park. It was amusement parky, but it was definitely run down, like it wasn't well maintained. Um, and they hire people between the age of 14 and 49, and a lot of the like supervisors for the Kingdom of Little People are average height. And the person that was going through kind of felt uncomfortable because it was so run down and because the supervisors seemed to be like talking down to them and like looking at all of the different people. It was very hard to tell what the ages of the little people working there were. And I think that a lot of times it's easier. Like, I don't think it's that difficult to decipher um, whether a little person is older or younger in like shows that I've seen or information that I've seen, but I had a really hard time telling in the like with the different cultures that were kind of intermingled in the show. And she said that the supervisors, the average height people, treated them all like children, even though some of them were probably older than some of the supervisors, which I found was really interesting. But in the perspective of the little people, which was really cool to see, like to hear them kind of talking about it, they love it. They love working there. They love being there. They love that it exists because um, there are people like them. And when they tell their story, where they came from and everything, so many of them talk about like their life was really hard before they got here. They were abnormal, they were looked at, they were made fun of, and they never knew anyone like them. And so they come here and they can just be themselves and they're surrounded by people that are like them. And that was a really common thing with them. They were happy that they were there. And their dormitory living was pretty disgusting, if I'm going to be honest. They went through their housing situation, and it was it was pretty gross. And it could just be the way that they kind of keep up their stuff, but there was just trash everywhere, and it was cluttered, and it was no place that I would want to live. And um, they have 20 rooms, 10 for men on the first floor, and 20 for women on the top floor, and 100 people live in that building, which I thought was interesting. And the rooms were like the size or smaller of what we consider like a dorm room here, and they had 5 beds in there. And they were average sized beds, so it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna have a smaller bed for the little people. It was like an average sized bed. So they couldn't really walk around too well in there. But they have 2 different kinds of dwarfism that is accepted there, which is disproportionate, which is just when the parts of the body are like not equal, and like you would have bigger thighs and smaller arms, or they have proportionate dwarfism, which is just a lack of hormones that and both of them cause you to never grow above 4'3", which is the requirement to work at the Kingdom of Little People. You cannot be over 4'3". The people that work there, so they are performers. So they basically, it's like, what I understood it as is like if you go to the zoo or something, and you go to one of the little shows that is in the amphitheater. I mean, maybe the zoo isn't a great example, but like if you go anywhere and you go to one of those little shows that cost extra money, where like at Disney, Goofy and all of them come out for like a 20-minute short thing. That is basically the only thing that happens there, as far as live entertainment. But then they have like little shops, and it kind of reminded me of Dr. Seuss. Like the layout of the little town, not where they live, but where they work, was incredibly like, Horton Hears a Who, in the little village that the Whos live in, which I thought was interesting. So they like go in and they make like flowers and they make porcelain dolls, and like they all have different trades, and then they do it out of these little buildings, and then people can buy things. And then as for the shows, they happen 4 times a day, and each person plays 2 different parts in every show. So that's interesting to me. But the people get paid a significant amount of money. So it's not like those people that have what we consider crappy jobs at like a zoo or something, where like they're not getting paid very much money. These people are getting paid 1,000 to 3,000 RBs, which is equivalent to what a college-educated person in China is making. So I thought that was incredibly insightful. So these people think that they are being discriminated against, or that this place is terrible. The people that live there, they like fought hard to get in, and like when they found out about it, like on TV, people see it on TV. A lot of them said that they applied because they had seen it on TV or their computers or something. They applied, and it's like really competitive. Like they were scared they wouldn't get in, and they're thankful that they get in. And back to the dorms, the people that, like, there are people that are in like together or in long-term relationships, or they didn't really clarify if they were married or not, but they aren't allowed to sleep in the same rooms. So, like, if you choose that you want to, like, live together, you have to resign from your position. So, I just, like, all of it was interesting. And from thinking about, like, the camps and everything that people go to, like, from last week with Camp Victory, where you go there and you kind of like meet the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, because it's the only other person that's like you that you're going to meet, or the only place that you have an opportunity to meet someone like you. This was awesome because it's basically you're living in a place where you're surrounded by people like you, and it would be comparable to any of us, any advertised people, like being able to live in a place where there are other average sized people, which is basically what happens every day. So I think it's a great opportunity. Yeah, it might be a little on the creepy side, or like on, not creepy, but on the like discrimination side. I can see that. But if you think about it from their perspective, it's awesome because they finally get to live in a world where they are average, where they are like everyone else, where they're surrounded by people like them, and they can talk about things that their struggles, their successes, with people that can truly relate to what they're going through. And I think that the Kingdom of Little People is awesome, and they don't even have to be performers. Like, I think there should just be a kingdom for them, not to be isolated, but just because if like that would give them an opportunity to truly be able to be happy. And from the impression that I got from the video, that's what they want. So I thought that the Kingdom of Little People was cool. I thought that the documentary was cool, and I am still eagerly awaiting more information. And I was excited this week that I learned a little bit more about the different kinds of dwarfism, with the disproportionate and proportionate, and that the tallest you can be as a little person is 4'3". So I am looking forward to next week and learning more about little people and learning more about my voice.